Hello everyone, welcome to this week's vlog. I just showered, I'm still in my towel, I'm about to get dressed, but we're doing things a little bit different this week. So I wanted to start here at the beginning, well, kind of the beginning of the day. It's like 10 o'clock, but close enough. That's kind of where my day starts these days. Basically, this is how I self-care. I have been struggling with some mental health stuff, which I do want to talk about because I think it's important, and I realized I only felt like I had permission to start addressing some of this stuff when I saw my online friends talking about it, so I want to talk about it too and just destigmatize it and give you permission to think about it and find solutions if that's something that you need. So here we are. I'm gonna get dressed. This is part one of self-care. I just showered, I shaved all the things that I've been putting off shaving for weeks and weeks. And I'm trying to decide if I want to let my hair air dry or if I want to blow dry it. And I think I want to blow dry it because blow drying my hair makes me feel more put together and more glamorous. This morning, waking up, I already drank coffee and hung out and watched the news, which is another thing that I really enjoy doing when I have time for a slow start to my mornings, which is most days these days. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna get dressed. Okay, we are dressed. This is what a self-care outfit looks like for me. This is gonna be different for everybody. For me, the days where I'm feeling confident are the days that you're gonna see me wearing like a sweatshirt or, wide leg pants or something. I find that when I'm feeling like I'm having a hard time, sometimes some of it has to do with kind of a disassociation or disconnection between my mind and my body, I've noticed. And a lot of times just wearing more form-fitting clothes where I can feel them against my body. When I look in the mirror, I can see my shape. Something about that really helps me not only feel more put together and less sloppy, but also more connected. I'm seeing myself more than I'm seeing the shape of clothes. I don't know if that makes sense, but I find that this helps me. This is going to be different for everybody, for sure. I think that if you have different body image issues than I do, the days where you're not feeling good about your body are not the days to wear something really tight that shows everything. But that's what works for me. Okay, so next thing, I kind of want to not sit and talk for forever until I put on a little bit of makeup and do my hair, because that's one area that I'm really struggling with right now is my skin. It's been really bad. I'm 26 years old and I'm frustrated. I think a lot of it has to do with masks. Most of my acne is either where my bangs are or where my mask is, which of course right now is my entire face. Also, I should mention self-care days, it's super important that I drink lots and lots of water, partly because I get stress headaches and I don't want dehydration to exacerbate that. And then also because part of self-care for me is making a fun drink that I love, and lots of times that's soda or coffee, which has caffeine in it, which is dehydrating. So another thing that helps me that I'm also going to do right now is listen to a podcast when I'm feeling like I'm struggling. The best thing for me to do is not listen to too much news or serious podcasts about psychology or religion or anything like that, and instead I focus on podcasts that I find really fun. One that I love that I can recommend to pretty much everybody is Beach Too Sandy. It is basically just a brother-sister duo who are hilarious, and they just they pick a subject like Golden Corrals in Texas or water parks in Louisiana, and they just read reviews, the funniest reviews they can find from those places. So I highly recommend that if you're someone who gets down with current events or stuff the heavier stuff that you're dealing with. Find some podcasts or TV shows that are really fun and lighthearted that will engage you and make you laugh. That's another thing that really helps me. I know I'm just listing off a bunch of stuff that helps me right now, but it's because I'm about to do all of that at once, and so I need to explain it beforehand or we're just gonna miss all of it. So that's where we're at. Part of me having a hard time is also being a little disorganized, and that's part of the thing that really frustrates me, which I will explain more about later. Okay, back to doing my hair and makeup. done. And now it's time for the next most important order of business, which is getting food. Another thing that I really struggle with when I'm feeling down is eating well. I am not very good at eating well when I'm not feeling good, and then I have no energy, and then it's like this vicious cycle where I have no energy, so I feel bad, so I don't eat, so I feel bad. So we're gonna break that today. I made some delicious vegetable soup, which I'm going to get right now to eat. Okay, I have to lean over a whole bunch. Soup is in the microwave. Soup is kind of my favorite self-care food. If you're like me and you struggle with like meal prepping and stuff when you're not feeling good, I would challenge you to think of foods that don't feel so hard to prepare and also like are very nourishing. I love soup because I think it makes better leftovers than it does, you know, when it's fresh. It just like all the flavors meld together when they sit for a few days in the fridge. So I love that about it. It like continually tastes delicious. It takes zero preparation. You just stick a bowl in the microwave and you're good to go. And then, you know, it's very like healthy and nourishing. So this is a soup I made a few days ago. I got about that much left. It's literally just veggies. I put some beef bone broth in it to give it some more protein, and I did vegetable broth, and then just like a mirepoix from Trader Joe's, which is just like really small cut up carrots, celery, and onions. That's a great way to skip a lot of soup prep. And then I did some leftover carrots we had, and cauliflower and green beans. And that's it. Very simple. I put a ton of delicious spices in there. I did allspice, paprika, garlic, parsley, cumin, salt, pepper. So anyway, if you're having a hard time, sometimes preparing food once that you know it's going to last you a long time feels a lot easier than having to prepare small meals all the time. So yeah, there we go on that. And then as soon as I'm done eating, we'll talk. I feel like I'm really low energy right now, so I don't want to explain things to you while I'm not feeling good because it's not as fun to watch, in my opinion. Okay. Now that I'm fed and watered and nourished, it is time, oops, there's my drink straw. It's time to help Vincent get the same. Today we're doing a Sesame Crunch chopped salad kit from Trader Joe's. This is one we haven't tried yet, so I'm excited to try it. He has had 2 hours of teaching back to back so far today, and then he has only a 15-minute break before he teaches for another hour and a half. So on days like today, I like to make sure that I'm helping him with food, especially since I'm so flexible and he's the main breadwinner right now. That's another thing that I think is a form of self-care, is just like taking a minute, you know, outside of myself to help someone next to you. That's a good thing to do. That was really poorly worded, but you know what I mean. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'll go back to feeling down after I take care of Vincent. So these salad kits have been really saving me while I've been struggling lately. I find that when I'm having a hard time feeding myself, I just end up eating grilled cheese all the time. That's like my go-to comfort food, and if I'm not careful, I will eat that for lunch every single day, and that is not healthy or nourishing. So we have to make better choices, and if that means spending, you know, an extra $1 on all the ingredients prepackaged and pre-cut, then that's what we're gonna do. Okay, here's his lunch. I'm leaving it right outside the door for him so he can grab it when he's ready. We also just got our Girl Scout cookies in the mail. I think we ordered from Troop, I think it's 6,000. They support homeless girls in New York, and all of the funds go back into that troop. So we buy from them, and they deliver, which is really nice. So I gave him a little treat of Girl Scout cookies. Okay, I'm finally ready to move on to the next thing. That is going to be a different kind of self-care, which is painting my toenails. They're fine right now. They're not horrendous, but they're not great either. And I'm not gonna like make you watch me do that because that's gross. But I am going to do it because every time I look at my feet, I feel unhappy with them. I am mostly home in slippers, so you know, they're not particularly rough or calloused. I just really need to repaint them, and that's it. So I'm gonna do that. And while I do that, I thought I might talk a little bit. So the impeachment trial is on in the background. Vincent turned it on. I kind of forgot that it was happening today, but it is kind of an important part of American history. So I am gonna watch it a little bit, but I'll stop if it starts to feel like too much for me. It might, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna put mental health first today. And I did have white polish on, but I think I'm gonna change to this nice dark red color. This is like the Essie gel style. The top coat looks like this, and then they have all the different colors, and I really like this nail polish, by the way. It's really good. Okay, so I'm gonna do this while I talk. So I'm sorry if you can hear Vincent talking in the background. I can't do anything about that. So basically what's been going on with me is I've had a lot of mental health like symptoms for a really long time, stemming back to when I first left New York at about 20 to go to school in Utah. That was kind of the worst thing for me. I really struggled making friends, and I felt kind of just like I didn't fit into the community there, because I didn't. I've always struggled with church stuff, and it just really solidified for me how different I was to the average, Mormon girl my age. I really struggled with making friends, and college itself was brutal. I think that I might have ADHD. I know that it's vastly underdiagnosed in women, and because I've literally never been to a therapist or counselor, I never really had an opportunity to have that talked about anyway. But I just feel like I have a lot of symptoms, and when I think back to my college experience, I think a lot of my struggle revolved around that. I couldn't focus. I really just could not get homework done. I fell behind really quickly from all of like my art, fellow art major people. I just couldn't keep up with the amount of time and effort outside of class they were putting into what they were doing. I think I did well in high school because I'm a good test taker. I have a partially photographic memory, and I never took any really challenging classes. So I convinced myself that I could be a good student, but I really struggled in college, and the final straw for me was getting like a C- in my illustration class and a D in my American history class, and that just killed me. I'd never gotten grades like that before, and the feedback was really harsh, and it just killed my spirit for it. And so I always told myself that like, I just have too many varied interests to focus on drawing and la la la. But the reality is that I just couldn't focus. And I lost interest in it really quickly, and it was just really hard. Add to that, I definitely have a lot of social anxiety, and other just anxiety in general that makes me struggle with making friends, and like work is really a challenge for me. Starting new jobs is really horribly hard. So college was really hard. Luckily I met Vincent, and I moved to France, and I know that doesn't seem like something that a scared, shy, anxious person would do, but I had Vince, and I could lean on him, and I didn't have to go out and find a job, and it was probably part of the reason that I had such a hard time learning French, because I wasn't brave enough to go out and do it, and it was just really hard for me. So anyway, I think being in France, newly married, feeling kind of lost and purposeless, struggling way more with learning French than I thought I would, really sent me spiraling into, I think, depression. And I don't think that I've ever really gotten out of it. There's been times where I felt better. When I first started YouTube, I felt better, and it was because we were ending our time in France and heading to New York, and that was really exciting for me, so I felt better. But basically, as soon as we got to France, about 6 months later, we both fell into a really, serious faith crisis. And so that sent me spiraling in a whole new way. My whole worldview crumbling, my relationships with my family and friends changing, and sometimes, just losing relationships, and having to start over, and going from feeling like a relatively, mainstream, young married Mormon girl to a very naive and ignorant, non-Mormon married person. It was just a really hard transition, and I think it's still hard all the time. So, that kind of has stayed hard. And then, of course, we kind of stopped going to church at the end of 2019, and then what happened at the beginning of 2020, pandemic. So, then I have all of the same mental health issues that everyone else has had for the last year, with depression and anxiety about the way, the state of the world, about the death tolls, about not being able to see people, and all of my favorite things being taken away, movie night, restaurants. So it's just been one thing after another, really, for about the last 5 years, I would say. it's just been so brutal, and I never have really gotten a break. And like I said, you know, it's definitely come in waves where I felt better and I felt worse. But it's right now, all the symptoms that I'm experiencing, like I said, I think I have some ADHD stuff too, where I'm hyper fixated on a lot of things, but then unable to function in a lot of other ways, which is also why I haven't been able to get videos out on time, and I'm really sorry about that. I just can't focus and I feel so much guilt about it because I really love this community and I want to be here. I want to be here. I just want you to know that. And you can tell I care about it because I'm crying. But it's just been really hard. I feel like I'm at the end of my rope, as far as like trying to find solutions for myself. I just feel like I can't anymore. I've tried everything. I've, you know, bought all the planners and you know, figured out all the morning routines, and you know, moved our rooms around so that I had better space and I have all the equipment, and I just can't do it. So that's kind of where I've been at, and it's just so frustrating because like I want to be productive and I want to create content and I have so many ideas and I have, you know, I have so much room and space mentally and physically from my husband, who has really been the breadwinner, and that's so cool. I think that I'm really lucky that way, but it's just not getting done and I don't know why. So I'm kind of on the hunt for answers to like figure out why I am the way I am right now, and it's been a little bit validating. So this is another part of self-care, you know, therapy, counseling, if you're really struggling like I have been. One thing that we have waited way too long to figure out is that our healthcare, we have like basic healthcare coverage. It's subsidized by New York State. Luckily, we live in a place that does that really well, so we pay about $200 a month for like decent, you know, regular care. And part of our plan, we didn't even know this until we started really trying to get me some help. But part of our plan is that our health insurance is partnered with Ginger, which is like BetterHelp or a lot of the other mental health related apps that do like virtual therapy, you know, tele-doctor type stuff. Ginger seems pretty good so far. There's a coach that helps you in between therapy sessions, and because it's all remote, it's all covered by our insurance, which is really nice. So we're starting there. I might need to get in-person care eventually, but we'll figure that out when it comes. For right now, I'm really excited because I have an appointment in a couple weeks to talk to a therapist, and I have a coach that can help me until then. So that's been a huge step that I've been needing to do for literally years, and it's just, you know, I've kind of reached a breaking point now where I just have to get help. I need coping strategies. I need someone to talk to. I need help to frame some of the harder stuff that I've gone through in a way that's like validating and, you know, supportive. So there's that. I'll keep you guys updated on what's happening with me as it happens. I don't really know. I don't have any answers yet, and I really don't want to self-diagnose, but one thing that Ginger, the app, did when we first like got everything all signed up, they had us do like an intake, you know, assessment of where we're at, and the app was like, well, it looks like you might be experiencing moderately severe depression and mild anxiety. And I was like, okay. I've been afraid to say I'm depressed forever because, again, I just don't like self-diagnosing, and I come from a family of like pick yourself up by your bootstraps. No one in my family has ever seen a counselor or therapist. Like, it's just not something that we do. So I have no experience with that, and I've always been told, no, you're okay, like it'll all get better, think happy thoughts, pray. So it's been like, even just that, like, it looks like you might have moderately severe depression. It's like, okay, yep, I do, and that's okay. And now I can Google strategies, and it's like, it's kind of given me a direction and permission to like to give myself that label right now and then like address it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I'm making this video, because I've been vlogging on and off all week, and I've had lots of ideas of things to do, and they're just not getting done. And I know a lot of you follow me for like from AuthorTube, and then just like my vlogs, and then other people follow me for the cross stitch videos. But either way, I think it's important for you to know where I'm at and who I am and what's going on. And I also think that there's a lot of power in being able to talk about it, and you guys will probably, I'm expecting lots of comments that are helpful and supportive, and that's why I do this, because I love you and I love your insight. So anyway, there you go. So part of self-care is also being able to talk about it, I think. So here we are. This is self-care for me. I can't make content if I can't be super upfront and honest, because that's just how I am. I'm an open book. So there we go. I don't really know what else to say. I'm kind of rambling now. So I'm gonna keep working on this, probably watch a little bit more of the trial. And then I was thinking maybe I'd show you what I've been doing all week instead of doing anything productive, is being super fixated on working on my cross stitch project. And I've actually made a ton of progress, which I'm excited about, because I'm kind of ready to be done with the Star Wars piece, but obviously I want to finish it. I don't want it to just sit in a drawer half done, because then it's not serving anybody. And I just got a frame for it to put it all in, so I want to show you what I'm working on. So let me do this, and then I'm just going to show you that. And I'm going to take a minute, and I'm going to blow my nose, and I'm going to drink more water because I just cried, so now I'm going to get dehydrated and get a headache if I'm not careful. And if this made you upset, I'm really sorry. Breathe with me. Everything will be fine. Okay. Moving on. Okay. My feet are, well, cuter than they were before. It's kind of a messy paint job, but I don't care. Mostly they're just in slippers or boots anyway. I just didn't want to look at them anymore. So part of self-care is doing things that make you feel good, but the other part of self-care is knowing when to stop, because otherwise it just turns into a whole day of feeling guilty for not doing enough, and we're not going to do that. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to eat the half of the salad that I had saved from earlier, and Vincent's taking a little break too, and I think I'm going to play a game that I'm really super enjoying. It's called Outlanders. It's on Apple Arcade, which is great because it means there's no ads or anything. Apple Arcade is a great thing to support if you can. Apple basically funds projects from small developers and allows them to create higher quality games with no ads, no pay funnels that get you to like be buying things in small increments all the time. So anyway, Apple Arcade is great. Outlanders is a fabulous game if you have it. We also got 3 months of arcade free when we got our new iPhones a couple weeks ago. So anyway, that's how I'm playing that game, and it is real fun. It's my favorite right now. It's like a classic town building game, and it's really cute and snarky. So anyway, I think I'm gonna play around with that and eat the salad, and then we'll go from there. Right, I also thought it was time for a little drink break. We always get these little 7.5 ounce cans, which I highly recommend if you're trying to wean yourself off soda. I do not drink it every day, not even every week, but sometimes I really do crave it because it reminds me of home and running errands and my upbringing. Mormons don't drink coffee, so everybody drinks a lot of soda. That's what I grew up with. So this is a way to get my fix without like having a huge amount of carbonation and stuff that I don't usually have. It's like perfect in one of these glasses filled up with ice, one of those. It's good to go. So, we cuddled for a little bit because serotonin is good for you, and Vince took a nap because he's not feeling super great. And then we decided we don't want to cook, and you know what? Sometimes, like I was saying before, this morning it was about doing things that make me feel good, but this afternoon it's about taking a break from doing things because that makes me feel good. So, we're gonna go get McDonald's right now because we love McDonald's and we haven't had it in a really long time. And also that means we can take a little walk, which we both probably need because neither of us have left the house yet today, really. All right, here's what I'm wearing for our big outing because it's 34 degrees. Also, we're both double masking because that's current CDC guidelines. So wear your masks, double mask if you can. It's importante. Okay, be right back.
Says President Trump put a target on their backs and his mob broke into the Capitol to hunt them down. And you hear the audio that we hadn't heard.
Look at those perfect buns. The McDonald's by our house just gets it right.
Curse words, the way they wanted to get.
Alright guys, I'm still watching the impeachment trial coverage. Why should you probably turn that down? It was very loud. And I'm gonna sign off here because now I am gonna try to get some social time. Playing Minecraft with my brother is one of my favorite things to do when I'm feeling down. It always kind of gets me out of my head, out of my apartment, into, like, you know, real life. Kind of. At least socially. I also texted my cousin to see if they wanted to play because I know that they've been wanting to play with us in this new RL Craft world that we discovered. So I'm going to sign off here. I hope that this helped you, inspired you, made you feel like everything's not as bad as it seems, or encouraged you to seek counseling if you feel like you need it, or anything. I hope that it helped you, and I love you. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, which will hopefully be a little less of a downer than this one. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video, because if you made it to the end, that means that you liked it. And see you in the next one. Bye. If your hobby is feeling like work instead of fun, you need to change what you're doing, because it's supposed to be fun. So basically, here's my disclaimer. You do you, and don't ever force yourself to do any hobby that starts to feel more like work than fun. And I'm never going to tell you that one way of doing things is the only way to do it that's going to be fun for you, because